Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a special review. I don't know, I guess it's special, but my name is Tristan. I guess it's special because I'm joined by...
You're joined by... I'm joined by Travis Snell. I'm Kyle Smith.
It's like you haven't even missed a beat. Oh boy, we didn't even have nicknames, but that's fine. We don't need them.
No, we'll be good. I was
what?
going to say Gucci, and then it turned into good.
Gucci.
It's gonna be
Yeah, welcome back, Kyle. You've not been on cast for a while because Spider-Man Retro's been on hiatus, and then you haven't been on live stuff, so you've been busy, correct?
Been busy with school. I'll get you.
Well, that'll definitely get you. So
ya.
You're returning to talk about Stranger Things Season 2.
Oof.
Give a rundown of what did you think about the first season and then you can go right into the second season. So what we'll do also, anything you talk about Season 2, just keep it non-spoiler, and we'll give you a heads up when we switch over. Yeah,
okay.
We'll do non-spoiler.
I like to say when I first started watching the first season, I heard there was a lot of hype behind it. I think
You almost actually didn't watch it because, remember, you don't like horror stuff.
I don't like horror. I hate scary things. And I started, I just heard it was so good, so I'm like, okay, you know what? I'll just give this a shot. And I just started watching, and I got hooked instantly.
Mm-hmm.
It's very borderline for scary for me, but it's just, I keep it in. It's not too bad.
Borderline scary.
It's borderline scary. It has some good jump moments, but I really liked the first season. I thought it was really well done. Completely different from other, TV shows that are out on Netflix and HBO and whatnot. So I think it was just a very interesting take on something new and very creative. I think even the young actors and actresses are amazing as well too. All those kids work well. So I was really excited once the first season wrapped up because wanted to watch more. I thought it was great. It's a great binging show.
Oh yeah, and it's not that long either. I think the first season was 8 episodes and this one's 9, so not that much longer. So you said you couldn't wait for more. So what happened when you got more this weekend?
So I told Travis, hey, are you gonna watch Stranger Things this weekend? I was like, oh no, I have too much homework, I can't do it. Then all of a sudden I watched one episode since I got home. I guess it would have been last night, and then it's like, wow, this is pretty good. And then I kept going in another one and another one. Before you know it, I finished the entire season. And didn't do homework.
Wow.
So,
rest in peace, schoolwork.
There goes my school, but at least I can do this review with my amazing friend Travis here.
So, I'm guessing then you liked it if you binge watched the whole thing.
I liked it. I thought overall it was really, really good. I was kind of worried that they're going to run out of things to kind of do.
Yeah.
And, how much in depth do they go with these characters and kind of where the twists and turns are going to go. I kind of have my little bit of tough spots in the show, but it's more towards the end than the beginning.
Oh, I'm the reverse.
Okay,
yeah. There we go.
So, but yeah, otherwise I thought it was a pretty good show. Not as good as the first, but I still quite enjoyed it.
I was just about to ask you that. So yeah, I'm somebody, I guess for me, I love Stranger Things Season 1. That's not a rare thing to say. I think that's pretty much... I think it's more rare if you say you didn't love it. But I remember it was and I hate saying this, I always say I wish I said on the podcast, but this is hipster Travis moment right here. I remember I'd seen a preview for it months and months and months before it premiered, and I was like, oh, I'm so excited for this. I never said anything on GeekVerse because I never thought it was gonna... It looked really good, and it looked really like Steven Spielberg meets Stephen King, really kind of... I guess I was gonna say... It was it before the movie came out, which you're never gonna watch. Are you gonna ever watch it?
No, I'm never gonna watch it. I hate clowns.
But
the
main guy from the guy that plays Mike is in it. He's great in that.
Yeah, no, I'm fine.
Oh man, but anyway, so it was very similar to that, and at least the previews were, and I got really excited, and I loved it like everyone else. It blew up. That to me, I think before this, probably the last 2 shows to blow up were this was probably like Game of Thrones and Walking Dead. I think those were the 2. I guess Breaking Bad in a way, but that was like a slow burn. I think built up near the end because it was getting close to the end. But I just remember with Walking Dead and Game of Thrones, one season, and then that's everyone talked about. Everyone still talks about Game of Thrones, Walking Dead.
Huge Halloween costumes that year as well too.
Oh yeah, and it's so many barbs I remember at the bar and everything like that. That was the huge thing. So yeah, I love that season. I didn't have many complaints other than a few things here and there, but they're all minor stuff. I've been saying it for months that my biggest worry that this was going to be a real disappointment just because everybody was so hyped and so excited after season 1, and it's hard to kind of catch that lightning in a bottle twice, you know?
Yeah.
Game of Thrones manages to do it, but that's why I brought Walking Dead. You look at Walking Dead, they had like their lowest ratings in 5 years, and that's how that can happen. When you have something that's so good, it either just keeps going like a Breaking Bad, or it's kind of like a Dexter or Walking Dead where it starts to dwindle off, and people go, oh, it used to be good. And I always worried that this could be it, because we've seen that many times, and I think there's been other times where, for me, it's like something like Guardians. I thought that was going to happen this year, and for me, Guardians 2, it didn't. It didn't happen to me with this one. I do like this season less than season 1, but I was still like enthralled with it most of the time. I was still checked in. I liked almost everything they did. So it's like, even though I can say, oh yeah, I didn't love it as much as the first one, it wasn't the big decline I thought was going to happen. Just because I thought the first season was so good that I thought, I don't know if you could match that, and you already touched upon it, but could they be doing stuff that's similar, or like not too similar? Like, are we going to retread some stuff? I think they did a couple times. There's a few things where it's like, okay, we've been here, done that. My worry is that I think they say it's supposed to, their plans to like 4 to 5 seasons. That is my worry of, they got this out of the way for my concern of, okay, they're going to do a different story and they can do different ways and make it still good and not have to worry about disappointing. My thing is, I still don't know how much more it should go on. Like, this is the thing, and it's gonna, because it's a huge juggernaut, but, and it's non-spoilers, but the way the season ends, for me, it's like, I would have been fine if they would have been like, hey, this is the end of the show, because it kind of ends in a great, like, way that I'd want it to, you know, where last year was very cliffhanger-ish. It was like, you have to come back and see it, and there was some stuff left open. Where there's lots of stuff still left open, but it was in a way where I would have been fine with it being done. So that's the only thing that I'm scared going forward. But at the end of the day, like I said, they kind of proved me wrong with this season because it was really good. I guess my biggest con I'd throw, the only thing is I found, I'll get into some examples and our spoilers, the only thing that was my biggest con, I found some stuff a little predictable at times, especially in that middle chunk, where I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing, because predictable can it still be a good story. I said the same thing about like Winter Soldier. One of the reasons why it's like, I like it a lot, but I don't love it as much as all the other Marvel movies. Like, it's not in my top 5. It's just because when I was watching, I was like, oh, I bet this can happen. I bet this can happen. I found myself doing that a lot this time.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and like I said, it's not necessarily bad, because those things that happen were good things, and they're acted well, and they're directed well, and written well, and all that. But I remember the first season, I felt a lot more on the edge of my seat, and a lot more, this happened, I didn't see it come. This happened, I didn't see it come. Where this, I don't want to say it was paint by numbers, but there's a few moments and times where I was like, okay, I see exactly where we're going here, and so that, I think that would be my biggest con, really.
I don't know if this might change your mind, but I watched.
No, it won't.
It won't change your mind.
I already know.
After I finished the series, all of a sudden Netflix puts on the after show that they do
Beyond Stranger Things.
Yeah. Did you watch that at all?
No.
Okay, so the directors talked about when they first finished the first season, they actually had to start the second season right away, so it wouldn't get any influence by fans or anything like that. So to go down the road of where they're gonna go, it's kind of unsure. So I think that predictability might have came just because they weren't too sure of where they were gonna go after that. So
okay,
so I don't know if it's not going to change your mind, but I think it's a good insight to see where the directors were going with this second season.
How many episodes of Beyond Stranger Things did you watch?
Oh, just the first one.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I was surprised that they did an episode for every episode, because it's a binge, so it's surprising, but I guess Stranger Things is big enough, I'm sure they'll go back and watch it. So I'm trying to think of anything, is there anything non-spoiler you want to shout before we get into spoilers? I'm trying to think of anything big. I guess I can tell this. You can tell their budget's a lot bigger, because man, they use a lot of hit songs, and it's like every song is like a huge hit of the 80s. And they had a little bit of that in season 1, but not to this extent. This is extent you could just see them like flexing their money. Like, thanks for all those views last year, brother. Like that, and then like everything was like boom, boom, boom. But I think the kids are great. Yeah,
actors, actresses are all good. There's a lot more connections between different characters, so I think that was really neat that they did there, and I thought it was cool. I think you'll enjoy it for sure.
Yeah. And like I think it's like minor spoilers, but we don't spoil anything big details. The thing about this is, and I'll ask you if you like this, and this is the part where maybe I didn't love it, where they kind of took a classic sequel route of, you look at Two Towers, you look at Empire Strikes Back, and Guardians. Then they did the thing where, okay, there's a group and they split them all up, right? Like, I won't be specific of who's in which group, but there's a good chunk. It feels like for the beginning, everyone's together. At the end, everyone's together. But in the middle, it's like, okay, 3 characters go off this way, 3 characters go off that way. Yeah. And I like it in movies, and I usually defend it. I think in a TV show, I don't know if I loved it, because there was times where there's a certain, like, it's not a big spoiler, but, like, let's say Jonathan, that character, he's gone for, like, 2 episodes. And it's like, it's not that it's like he's been kidnapped or he's missing. It's just that he's off somewhere else, and I don't know if and that's like, I don't know, there's a couple episodes where I got why they did that, we'll get in that, but there's a couple times where I found myself like, man, I haven't seen Mike in a while, you know, and that's the thing, that's I think I might, that one I have to see how I feel on a second watch, but the first watch, I don't know if I love it in TV form. Movie, it works, but movie's only 2 hours, so they're gone for, okay, maybe half an hour, but then they're back together.
I think it's good if you binged it all together in that instance, because I didn't really feel like that, but I feel like if I were to watch it, like, you know, maybe I'm going to watch maybe 1 or 2 tonight, and that's about it, and then maybe tomorrow, you're going to feel that you haven't seen a few characters in a while. Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. So it worked for you then.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alright, let's get into spoilers. So if you haven't seen it, we're not gonna go episode by episode, we're just gonna talk about spoilers. So if you've seen the whole thing, stick through. And one thing I forgot to shout out, next Saturday, November 4th, is our charity stream. It's 24 hours. We're what are we doing? What the hell? We're trying to raise $500. I've promoted so much and we've been so busy this weekend, but we're trying to raise $500 towards BC Children's Hospital. So anything helps, whether it's $1, $5, $10. We're playing lots of games. We got a tournament. Kyle's going to join us for a portion of that. We got guest appearances and bonus, the cherry on top. If we hit the 500, both Dylan, us, and Kirkland Patzer of this podcast are going to shave their heads bald live on there. If we hit the 500, they're going to shave their heads. So just for that, you want to donate. So I forgot to shout that out there. November 4th, 9 a.m. PST. So there you go, and the link's down below to donate as well, because we've had some donations. So I thank those people. And even then, if you don't have any money, donate. When that does happen next Saturday, just share, whether it's a retweet or a like or a share on Facebook. That just helps spread the awareness. So now we'll get into spoilers. So if you've seen it, stay through. I don't know. The first thing I want to start with, it's not like a big spoiler, but it doesn't matter. We're in there. I felt like, other than the ending, I felt like Mike, the main kid of the, I guess the party they're calling, for the most part, was not really in this show until the end.
Not really. No.
Like, and I found that really off-putting, and I'm not sure, like Emily brought up, I don't think this is it, but maybe there's a chance, because that's the guy in It. So we're like, oh, maybe he's filming that, but I don't think so. And that's the thing where it's like, so at the beginning, he kind of starts with, he's obviously a little depressed because Elle's like missing or gone. He's been calling her, and that was good. I like that. Yeah. But then there's a time where he goes off with like Winona Ryder, like and Will and all of them. But he just kind of feels like he's kind of the third wheel in that situation until the ending once Elle gets back. And I found that really strange. I felt like every character had a storyline, and his, I guess, was missing Elle, but I felt in the middle he like really disappeared. And I don't know, obviously you agree with that, but I found it kind of weird, you know. I don't know why, and that was maybe my thing of, I don't know if I liked all the characters getting separated. We also got a lot of new characters, and I was gonna say you can talk about Mike, but then how did you like any of the new characters?
I thought having the new characters came out of nowhere, and I thought it was a little weird.
Yeah.
Like I guess because I watched what the director said, and they're trying to, what they were telling whatever the guy was, is that they're trying to promote like a villain, but on the human side.
But the bully
and kind of like a psychopath in a way. That's what they were trying to go for. Which is,
I could tell that.
Because which is pretty interesting.
It is. These guys are big fans of It, and in It there's a big character that's a human bully, and that's what I felt like they kind of based it off. Because at one point these guys were rumored to direct It, and then they didn't. Again, they did Stranger Things. But the thing is with that, I liked that actor a lot too. He was in Power Rangers, and I said that I actually think he's gonna be a big star. But I don't think the bully was handled the best either, because he would go in and out, he'd disappear, and then it just felt like he kept being like, hey, stop talking to that kid, stop talking to that kid. We didn't understand why. At first I thought they were going to go like a racial route and make him like, because he was black.
See, I thought they were going to go because remember at the first scene, actually, the opening scene for Stranger Things, I thought was pretty sweet to know that there was someone else like 11.
Oh, at the beginning,
at the very beginning, first episode.
That was good.
And I thought, maybe they were part of some sort of thing.
Him and the sister. I did at one point too, especially because for a while she was just like wearing that hoodie for a long time, so you didn't see her wrist at all. Especially because it was super weird, and maybe they did that on purpose. But they kept talking about like, you're the reason we're here, this and that. They were really like cagey about it, and we never saw their parents till like the last episode when his dad was like a real jerk. But so if they did that on purpose, I think bravo. But the thing with the bully, I like that, and I like him being around. But then, like I said, he didn't get until the last episode. He has that meeting with the whole group, and they get in the fight. And then just before that, that's when his dad like roughs him up. And I felt it was like. I felt that was a little rushed. It felt like he was just an asshole, and then last episode, like, oh, we're gonna develop this character, but it didn't really fit for me in that moment. Even though I liked the bully aspect, and he acted it well, but I don't know. I get what they were going for, but I don't know if it panned out the way that they intended.
Yeah, I think they could have even alluded it to a little bit earlier, like showing maybe the dad just roughing up.
Yeah.
Like just like a small scene of some sort.
Or even just him kind of talking down to him, right, and build up to it. But there was no, because that's the thing. I didn't know if the parents were actually around or not.
I thought it was
you never know with these
kids. And then how they kind of explained the story, or she was saying, my parents divorced, and
they wanted to move to be away from the father for a fresh start.
Yeah, and I was thinking they left them, and that's why he's so mad, because he's taking care of her and he's on his own.
But nope. They're just grocery shopping all the time.
Leaving.
Yeah. You didn't say, how do you feel about Mike? Because we went off the tangent. How do you feel about that?
Yeah. I thought Mike was, in the first season, I kind of liked the gang all together, and he was kind of the leader of the gang.
Yeah.
In this, it's like he wasn't really a leader of the gang at all.
And the gang broke up.
And the gang broke up, basically.
Yeah.
So he was just on his own with Will, and just like taking care of Will, and Will was his kind of ordeal. So it was kind of interesting to see that, but he was definitely put on the back burner.
Well, it's funny, and this is why I like it's funny, because I brought up Guardians too, and I didn't even mean to, but it feels similar to Star-Lord and Guardians 2, where it's like he still has like a character arc in a way. He still has big moments, but it felt like everybody else was doing a lot, and that's where it's like Star-Lord was like really big at the beginning, and then at the end, minor spoilers, but come on, it's been out since May, and then at the end he has like a bigger role. But there's Mill Chunk, and I remember that was like Liam's big problem, like, oh, he just kind of goes away, and that's what I felt about this, that he just kind of disappeared, and it's just a lot of like sitting next to Will and holding his hand and like
what's going on? I know the problem.
The spy and everything like that, and then eventually he got back to it. The second L got in there, but I just wanted to shut that, because that was, I guess, kind of a con for me, just because he was the main character, and for some reason, and then again, like when I compare it to Guardians, in a 2-hour movie, it's different, because for me, I never felt like Star-Lord was gone that much. In the show, I really felt him going, like, I didn't feel like, there's a time where I couldn't even remember the last thing he said, or like dialogue, I just kind of remember him doing like some faces, but he's still good. That's I don't think anyone was bad. Even the new characters, some that might not fit, I think they all still work, like they're all good actors or actresses and whatnot. So what did I guess we can focus on the gang first, then we'll go over to L.
We just talked about the brother. You want to talk about his sister, the redhead?
Right. At first I wasn't sure how that was gonna work, but I think they made it work quite well. I liked like classic kid scenario that she like beat their score on this like arcade game, so they're all mad about it.
Mad Max, that was a cool name.
Yeah, I like that. There was like lots of dynamics. You had like the classic like love triangle with the 3 over there, and then you had Mike, who was not a fan of her, because obviously it was just like the gang and whatnot, and I liked that. Kind of was like, I'm jumping to the end, but when Elle comes back and Max extends her hand to shake her hand, and then Elle just like walks right past her, I liked that. I liked working in that she didn't just become one of the gang members right away. There's still some acceptance, and I think that'll be probably part of season 3 that eventually the girls will become friends and stuff like that. But I think it worked, where at first I was like, I don't know if I want a new person in the gang, but I think it ended up working. Yeah.
I thought it was a little weird to have like also this new person. I thought maybe she was just replacing 11 since 11 wasn't there. But it kind of just worked out in the end to see like the friend triangle again, but it almost felt like the same problem with those two boys, like the first season where they started arguing, I believe. Yeah,
it was them again. Yeah, they like to argue.
So it's kind of interesting to see kind of that conflict go on, and then you kind of have this. So otherwise, I thought she did a really good job.
Yeah, and I think she worked as like the thing is with Elle and Mike, the way they kind of like. the way they started, like, I guess, like, this is cheesy, but, like, fell for each other, fell in love, was much different than your conventional. Like, this was conventional, like, real life, oh, meeting a boy, your friend, or meeting a girl, your friend also likes this girl, where last season, hiding things, like, they find this girl, Elle, she has superpowers, they save her, he takes care of her, like, something that would never happen, right? So I think she's a good thing as representing of the show, and that's what at its core is, like, yeah, it's a fun horror sci-fi show, but it's about kids and growing up, and I think that represented that well, because you do see them kind of, you know, fight over, then you see Toothless give her up, and, like, he's like, oh, when he's like, oh, yeah, there's a electricity between you two, and then, when he's asking all the girls for the dance, everything like that, like, it showed that they are starting to be interested in girls and stuff like that, so she kind of represented, I think, that as far as, like, adolescence and whatnot, so I think it worked out that way, so.
Yeah, there was a thing I had to say, but I totally forgot, but it'll come back to me again. Oh, it was because, do you feel like Mike kind of, you know, like, he wants his own gang, but do you feel like this new girl was intruding, like, becoming the new Elle?
I think so,
and,
because
like, he felt like, okay, well, these guys like her, but, like, I miss out on the girl who I really like, and I don't want her to be replaced by this other person.
Yeah, I think it was more that they didn't want to feel like they'd forget about her and that she's just replaceable. He's a big hypocrite, because he brought Elle in the group really quickly last season, so I think it's just that. I think it's, hey, it's Elle, like, this was Elle's spot, and he constantly brings her up. I really do like the scene, like, it's kind of mixed, but I love the scene where she does, when they're, like, her and Mike are talking in that gym, and Elle sees them and, like, kicks her off the board and whatnot, so that was a good dynamic. I think it's going to be played with more in upcoming seasons, but I think it worked for something that could have, like, we always talk about in other genres, like how love stories and romance can sometimes really hurt it, and I don't think it did here, whether it was Mike or Elle, or, like, the little mini triangle, or even, like, what's the mom's name?
Oh,
they always call her Mom.
I don't really.
But I'll look it up. But either way, she has like a weird name. It's literally, I got the IMDb right here. What is it? Joyce. Yeah. So like even her romance with Bob, like to me that worked out. So I think the romance stuff didn't hurt this season. And even actually the one that I like the most is Jonathan and Nancy. I think they did that off well. So, what was I gonna say? As far as the rest of the game, because we already talked about the other two, kind of the love triangle.
Yeah.
I don't.
Alright.
Yeah. See, you thought it was alright. I thought it added like a little bit more. I liked it enough. But
yeah, that's true too.
Yeah.
It's just like I don't know. It's just my thing. I kind of just don't like love triangles.
I know. Yeah.
So I feel like it takes away from the TV show, and we could just have them just like just doing their own things.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say because with those two, if we're talking about the rest of the party, like. With Lucas, I don't really have much to add on him because most of his stuff was like really tied to the girl. With Dustin, it was as well, but then we had the whole thing of him bringing home the dog and demo dog because the Demogorgon. Yeah. There's gonna be like 10 different demo monsters by the time the series ends, but I liked that aspect. It felt very Gremlins-esque of. He brings this thing home. I felt like played like a score that was similar to Gremlins, but they did stuff like. I think they meant to, but like kind of like he fed him really late, and of course like he's multiplying and whatnot, and I like that. I think I don't know. I think that was for me. All that stuff was like a little predictable because the second he's gone, like I know he's gonna keep him, and then I know this thing's gonna eat the cat. Like I know, like that was stuff that's what I mean. He was not too of the major stuff, but lots of the little stuff along the way never really caught me off guard. But I liked what they were doing there.
Like towards the end, it's like it's the demo dog, like his demo dog, and like lets him go.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you fed me.
Yeah, but even though if they would have just killed it, it would have been over. I know there's a bond there, but if you would have just got rid of it.
Yeah.
None of this would have happened, Do you have anything else to add on the party and the kids? I know we'll talk about them, but...
No, I don't really have much more.
Did you find it... and I guess because now we're talking about spoilers, that I think was the biggest thing for me that was like missing a little bit again was because they were apart for so long. It was like Dustin and Lucas, and then Will and Mike, and Will's not really there. Like, he's there, but he's like... in surgery, he's freaking out, so it's not like fun time with Will, like he's...
That's true.
And I guess I was going to say, because we haven't talked about him, I think I'll say shout out to him because I felt like he had a lot of hard scenes and a lot of and they didn't come off cheesy.
Yeah. And
we didn't get to see him act that much in the first season because
he was
dead.
Gone.
He was semi-dead. So I was like, oh, is this guy going to be the weak link because they just want him to be a dead kid or a zombie boy as they call them? But I liked all the scenes he had, and I thought he had like a lot harder scenes than them do because he's having to play sick and he's
Oh yeah.
seizing and all this stuff. So
I think he did a really well job with all of that. So
yeah,
I don't really have much more to say with Will. I think that's good.
I will say I hope now that he is no longer sick at all with season 3. You know?
It would be annoying if he got sick again.
Yeah. Like, I want when they did the whole... And that scene was great when they were trying to, like, burn whatever is out of him. Like, they kept calling him. Like, when they tried to burn he out of him. And then it, like, went up into space, which I imagine that's, like, something that's going to take place in season 3. I don't think it was space, but just in the air. But I hope that we don't... I want him to be well. I don't want... He was missing in season 1. He was sick in season 2. If he's like the impetus to bring it back in season 3, that for me is gonna feel a little redundant at this point.
I think you could almost like put it. He might be one of the keys in season 3 because he's been through that, and so I don't know. Maybe he'll still have that connection of being able to go into the upside down world. Yeah, I'm not too sure because it doesn't really explain how he's still like. I guess that the symbiote or that he thing was still part of him. But at the same time, he was like still able to go into that upside down world all of a sudden with like no. Yeah,
because he would just fall into it. Yeah, that's what I don't. I think there's...
That's what I don't understand. How does he just fall into that and go between the dimensions?
Well, I guess it's strange. I guess it's just him. I don't know. This is the thing. Obviously, I think what it is upside down is. Like, the monster is triggering it, the creature is triggering it, and then so it's to get to him, right? And that's another thing that was predictable for me when Bob gave him that speech of, like, you just gotta look him face and said, no, like, I looked over at Emily, I'm like, he's gonna do that, then the thing's just gonna get him. Like, that's what I mean, stuff like that. But when that happened, that was the thing of, I wasn't sure if it was... I'm trying to think about... Because there was that time those kids at the Halloween store... Or when they were trick-or-treating scared him. But the first time he got it was when he was at the arcade. Yeah. So to me it would have been like... Oh, maybe it was triggered when he was afraid. Yeah. But it just kind of randomly happened. And the other thing was... I guess he gets snapped out of it when people would wake him up or find him. But I didn't understand... I think that was just like a classic like movie-making thing. I think he just fell into it at times. But... I guess the idea was the creature's trying to get him. He got him because he still had some sort of latch on him. Obviously, last season he spat that thing up, so he had some latch on him. And now, like I said, I think there's a chance maybe he could go back or he might know a way around, really. But I don't think he should be slipping into stuff. I don't know if he could even tap into going back there anymore. And I kind of hope he can't because, like I said, Will has been the victim 2 times, so I don't really know. We can talk about later what season 3 could have, but
he's kind of like the easy victim because it brings everybody from all the different age groups all together. Yeah, that's the thing. Like you have your laboratory, you have the high school kids, you have the parents, and it's I don't know. It's unfortunate. Like he is somehow the glue. It's like okay, what is going to be the new like centerpiece that brings them all back together instead of all of their different storylines. But I guess that's more like predicting what season 3 would be.
Yeah, no, I'm just trying to think. Yeah, I guess we can come back to that because I can think. I have a few like semi-theories, but it could just be spitballing. What was I going to say? I guess we could talk about Jonathan, Nancy, and kind of Steve. Steve's another one that was not in it this much this year. Even though I end up liking him a lot more than season 1, I think with season 1 they did this whole thing where they kind of made him seem like an asshole, but he was really still like a nice guy. This one I like that he was just kind of palling around with the kids and whatnot. And he was a bit more, I think, comedic relief, but it wasn't overbearing. So I really like him as a character. And then with Jonathan and Nancy, they all like we'll talk about them. But at the end when he sees Steve sees Nancy again for the last time, and they're like talking about like doing this stuff, and he's just like, oh, it's okay, like it's fine. Was that him just kind of like, I guess he was just giving the go-ahead that he knew that those two were together now and was just fine? Because they didn't outright say that, but he just like, that's fine, like it's all good, like I'm a bad boyfriend, but I'm good at watching kids. Like, I took that's what it was, and then at the end when he sees her in the car, he drives away, but I guess that's what it's supposed to be, he's just kind of letting her go.
I think he's just accepting it, right? Because she kind of already told him how she felt when she was drunk. If you want to take that or not.
Yeah. I actually didn't like that scene. It was kind of annoying.
Yeah, but...
which I guess, fair enough. That's usually what happens. So.
That is usually what happens. But I thought it was... I know, I liked him a lot in this season as well, too. I thought he was very interesting and kind of just more... You didn't feel bad for him, really.
In season 1 or this season?
Or this season.
You didn't feel bad for him?
I mean, like, he wasn't a bad guy, so I should say that. Like, I felt bad.
I really liked him, but I didn't feel bad for him.
Like, he wasn't a bad guy. He was just, like, trying to do the right thing, and he know that he screwed up, and he's just trying to, you know, he was kind of over being the cool guy, even at that times that the other gentleman,
bully guy,
the
bully
bully
guy,
guy,
the
would
king
like,
around here,
try to like razz him up again. He's like, oh no, like he's like trying to look out for Nancy and like, hey, don't drink that, and she's like, didn't you want to have fun?
Yeah,
and she's like kind of going over the top, and you're like, oh man, like,
and he's being a nice guy about it all.
Yeah, he's not being an asshole or anything. So
yeah,
I thought that was pretty interesting, and just seeing his like how he's working with the kids, like, oh, here we go again, like this is just what we do. So
well, yeah, I think his reaction with Nancy, that was welcome, because I was when we talk about romance, I think I liked the Jonathan and Nancy romance, but I don't know if I was looking forward to another kind of like triangle, like a love triangle of
another love triangle.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of them, so I was hoping that, and it didn't really. It just kind of seemed like they broke up. He kind of accepted, and that's why I think, like I said at the end, I took it as he kind of just gave his blessing, even though you can tell he still cares about her.
Yeah.
It's kind of this thing of maybe he realized, like, hey, she doesn't really love me the same way I love her. So, and with those two, I liked the build up to them actually getting together, because it's at the beginning of the season, it seems like they're friendly, but they're not that close. Like, should they even talk about, like, oh, we're only friends when we're saving the world, yeah. But at the beginning, they're just kind of acquaintances. Obviously, this stuff is happening again, so they team back up. I love, like, all the stuff of, like, when they're comparing scars, and I like that they actually answered, like, the stuff in season 1, because at the end, it seemed like she was going to break up with Steve, not be with him and go with Jonathan, but then they talked about that of, like, hey, like, I waited for you, you didn't stick around. He's like, you only gave me a month, and she was like, that should have been enough, and everything like that. Even though I still think, like, I don't think a month was a long time, because, you know, his brother came back from the dead, so I get it, but I like that they answered that, and I like the build-up. I liked the scene where the guy was calling them out and everything like that, and they had this romantic scene of they got up, they talked to each other late at night, and they went back to bed, and then they both go check on each other, they bump into each other, and then they go in the bedroom to make love. So I liked their romance, and I think they have good chemistry, and the guy that plays Jonathan, I'm a really big fan of him. I think he's going to be, I don't know if he's going to be a big star, because he has really, like, unique looks, but I think he's going to be a guy that's going to be in a lot of movies in really big acting roles, and maybe down the line, but I really like Jonathan as a character.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty interesting. Even when they're having breakfast with that guy, the guy's like, oh, how was the polo? And he's like, what?
Yeah, that was good.
A lot of, like, small comedic relief in this TV show, and I really loved it, and it kind of takes you out, because at some points where it gets really serious, and you kind of get, I don't know, jumped a couple times, but that's...
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
The only thing, I didn't love their adventures in the middle when they did the whole... It worked for the show, but that was the only time that felt a little slow paced for me, because they do this thing where she's feeling really guilty about Barb, right?
Oh,
which I don't like when characters put guilt on themselves, because you didn't kill Barb. This fucking, like, monster killed Barb. Like, just because he brought her to this party, that's not your fault.
Yeah,
like,
but she feels bad because the parents are selling their house
for
a detective.
True. Oh, no, 100%.
And it's like, you know the answer, but you can't tell him. You can't tell him you don't feel a little bit of guilt.
She can feel guilt, but for her always be like, we killed Barb, like, Barb's dead, because I kind of get it, but, so this whole thing where she's like, she calls Barb's mom, she's like, meet me here, and they also set that up so that that agency could bring them in, and then they record it, and then they go to this reporter guy. That stuff for me, I didn't love. It had to happen, because at the end, like, we get justice for Barb, because they say it's, like, chemicals, like, she was reacting to this and that. But I think that, for me, was, like, a little slow pace, and there's a few, like, phone checking times where, even when they're going for the facility, I was like, I don't know. I won't use the word boring, but it was, like, a little dull for me sometimes. I understand there's some stuff, but I think there's maybe some stuff they could have cut, and we could have moved a little bit quicker in that. And they did that for, like, 2 or 3 episodes. It was like, I don't really, other than their romantic side, I don't really care what they're doing, really. You know, and even their scene when them talking to the guy, that worked and ended up them writing the paper together. But I found, I guess it's just because it's hard to do that in movies and TV shows when we already know what's happened, and then characters have to explain it to other people. And it's like, well, I know all this, so what am I learning out of it? So for me, that was one of the low points, was their kind of like adventures other than their romance.
Yeah.
So.
I guess we'll talk about the sheriff and Levin.
Yeah, sure. So I'll say last season they set up when he set up the Agos and he was like working on getting her. I think I liked theirs the most as far as the storyline.
Mm-hmm.
I liked how they kind of, at the end, probably my favorite scene of the season was at the car when they were driving to go close the gate and they had this, like, heart-to-heart talking about, like, what they both did wrong. Because I really need that because I didn't like how mad he got at her when... What did she do? Why did he get so mad?
Oh, because she just left the house.
Did she? Where did she go when she left the house?
She went to go see Mike. And then she came back.
Right, she went to the school and everything like that. Right, yeah. Okay.
She came back, yeah, and he was like, where were you? Like, I was looking for you.
Yeah, so I liked the beginning of, like, the whole thing with the the Halloween thing and, like, I'll be here and stuff like that. I think they had a great dynamic from... When you first meet them, it seems like father-daughter thing, and it's great for him because also we know he lost his daughter. Mm-hmm. I think those flashback scenes were good of showing them meet for the first time. And just stuff like he's showing how to sweep, and he's dancing, and she's, like, laughing at him because he's so silly. And that's why, for me, him being so mad later on, it worked because he said that he apologized because he gets so worked up, and he said stupid and mad because he's just so worried that... He described himself as a black hole, and everything that comes to him gets destroyed. And obviously, because his daughter had cancer and passed away, so he was worried about 11 being destroyed in this, like, metaphorical black hole, and that made it work for me because at that point, that character of him getting so mad when he was literally, like, throwing stuff and unplugging the TV and yelling at the top of his lungs, it didn't fit for who I thought he was in the first season. Like I said, they worked it in near the end, so now I like that. But at one point, that was a con for me because I thought he just got so mad and so over the top. And I was like, this girl, I felt this character would know this. She's been through enough to know not to get so mad at her, not to yell at her. She's been through traumatic experiences. Yeah. But like I said, at the end, they made it work. So I think their relationship was my favorite part of the show, and I hope that because he got the birth certificate. They'll still be living together, so I want to see more of that down the line.
Yeah, I think it was all very interesting. Probably the best part of the show as well, like for relationship-wise and how they connected. And I thought it was really interesting how he wasn't even fazed by her powers. She just slams the door, or she pushes the table up against him and smashes the glass. He's not even fazed at, like a lot of people would be freaking out. He's
and he talks to her like a regular child at moments, like, don't do this, like, I'll ground you and stuff like like, it's not stuff where he was, freaking out. Like, maybe it could have happened before, but still, like, he doesn't...
He's very accustomed to what her personality is and what she can do. Yeah. And so...
Well, and I think it's a good thing because if he got a bigger reaction, she might be more nervous or whatnot. So for him to make it seem normal probably works better for her, so... Yeah, and then the sheriff, I think, is probably my favorite character, so that's probably another reason why a lot of people love sheriffs. But the actor, David Harbour, is just a great actor, and I liked his journey of... So there's that stuff with 11. He finds... Like, I felt he did almost, like, the most as far as stuff in the show. Like, he finds that hole that leads down there. He gets kidnapped for a while. He goes to the hospital. There's a lot of, like, gun-toting there and everything like that. His scenes with everybody is good. His scene with Mike at the end is really good when... they find out Elle is alive, and he brings him to that room, and Mike's just like beating away at him, punching him like, you lie, and he's like, don't be mad at her, like, she didn't do this, and he's like, I'm not mad at her, I'm mad at you, and he's like, that's fine, kid. Like, he didn't really care. Like, he's so good at, like, feels like he has a different connection with every character, you know, and that's what really works. And I'm really excited. I hope in season 3 we'll finally get... They've always hinted at him and Joyce, like, being a thing. I think that's gonna happen.
I think they used to be a thing.
They did. I didn't know that until... I didn't catch that the first time. When I watched it, I watched season 1 a second time a couple of weeks ago, and they dated, like, in high school or something like that. So...
And then she dated, like, that guy. And
the dad. Deadbeat dad. So, I really like... everything he was doing, I liked. He progressed the plot a lot. I liked his character stuff. Every scene that he had with Elle, I think, were my favorite scenes.
That's true, yeah.
And I think Elle, for me, was my favorite thing as well as far as the story, because for a while, I guess this was my con for a little bit, was with season 1, we had, there's some creepy stuff going on, then Will goes missing, and then 11 shows up. There's a lot of new happening, you know, so there's a lot of, there's a mystery in my mind where, where is this kid, and what is Elle, where... When we knew all that, there was a lot of, like, you had, like, the Demi dog, and they were chasing it. But for me, them, like, trying to find the dog wasn't as exciting as trying to find Will or finding out who 11 was. So, for me, in the middle portion, the stuff they were doing, I was like, okay, this is all right. And still just, like, trying to fix Will. It's like, I get why they're doing it, but that was nothing as exciting as the first season for me.
That's true.
But that's why with Elle, I thought her stuff, everything the other characters were doing felt similar to what they were doing last year. With Elle was completely new. She's wondering where she came from.
Yeah.
She's going to different cities. What did you think about Elle's like overall journey from just, I guess, with the sheriff, goes to Pittsburgh at one point, comes back. Like, I think she did the most as far as like character growth and having a lot of different, like everybody else was going through stuff, but she went through the most clearly.
Oh, for sure. I think it was very beneficial. This girl who's been locked up for her whole life basically, and then now she was free and then told to be locked up again in a sensitive way where she's not allowed to go.
Can't go outside. Don't go outside during the day.
And that's what's motivating her. She's like, well, I could, like, I'm not in jail. I can leave whenever I want. Why am I stuck here? And like kind of just lost of what type of person she is, and everyone kind of knows who they are. And I think it was just cool to see her kind of go through that journey of trying to figure out who she initially was, and wants to relive that life, only to find out that the life that she has back home is what she wants. So even with the connection with being in Chicago with that other...
Was Chicago or Pittsburgh?
Or Pittsburgh.
I think it was Pittsburgh.
Was it Pittsburgh?
Yeah, I don't know for sure.
I can't remember. With that 8, I forget her name.
I forget her name, but it's her sister. So.
Yeah, her sister. Yeah. And I thought that was cool. She's like, oh, like, maybe I belong here. And she's just trying to find a sense of belonging, really, than anything else.
Yeah.
And kind of going through that tale of, you know, she's about to murder this guy. And she's murdered people before. And just to give that guy mercy because, you know, like, well, like...
As a family,
like if I end him, like those girls are gonna end up just like who I am, like lost without a father. Yeah. So I think that was very mature and a good turning point as well too. So. Yeah,
and I think that's the other reason why I liked it too, is because I felt like she had like these arcs, and they were maybe like 3 to 4 episodes, and the first portion of her story is with the sheriff, and the second portion of her story is with her aunt and her mom, and she's like, and you get to see backstory of what more of her origin as far as what her mom went through and what they did to her, and they gave her electroshock therapy, so that's why she's just a vegetable now, pretty much. And then after that, she finds out that she has a sister. She goes to see her sister, and that's a Pittsburgh episode which we'll talk about. And then she goes back with the party and the whole gang there and all the guys. So that's where it's like all of them at one point, or something like with, for me, Mike, where it felt like for a while he was just like at that hospital with Will, or just like with Will taking care of him, where she was the one that was doing the most different stuff throughout the show, and that's like I said, no, I'm not going to say other people because that's what their characters are doing, that's the way it was written, but she got a lot more, I think, the act, and she was put in a lot more different situations than the other ones were. And how did you feel about the Pittsburgh episode being like this singular, not having to do with anything? Because TV shows do that a lot, but how did you feel? Was it a nice break? Did you feel you wanted to see the other characters? How was that for you?
Again, I binge watch it, so it kind of all becomes
becomes one movie.
But I thought it was pretty interesting because we missed out on 11 quite a bit for most of the show, I thought.
Well, yeah, because there's a lot of times she was in the house, or like there's a lot of episodes where they did the same thing with, like I said, with Jonathan and Nancy, where I remember I think there's one episode you don't see 11 at all. So
and I think I also was fine with it too, because the other characters weren't really going anywhere. They were kind of just staying. They were very static. Yeah. And they were just doing the same thing almost over and over again. It's like, okay, you kind of already know what's going on there, so just to leave them, I felt like I didn't really miss out on anything that they were doing. It's like, we're just gonna, you know, if they wanted to flash back, it's like, oh, you're just gonna flash back to Will, like sitting there, like telling the same story, like, hey, I'm having a problem, the mom freaking out the doctor, like, and then going back to where 11 was. So I thought it was a good thing that they didn't, you know, try to go back and forth with all those different storylines and just get this one major plot, I guess, storyline done, or arc, and then move on from there and get more of everyone back together again. Yeah.
And then the thing I liked, I don't have anything more to add on that, because you kind of said what I was thinking as far as the actual episode. I think that worked as far as no one was really, they were running the same spot. I liked the episode of her meeting her sister. I liked that idea of it was just opened up in this season. I thought, because I imagine what's going to happen eventually is
they're going to find more of them.
They're going to find more, and when that big thing does come for them, it's going to be like an Avengers sort of team up sort of thing. And I like that. Where with this season, I was like, I don't know if I like this as far as getting a bunch together, but I like that it started that way. We saw that there was another one. I love her power of making people see things that they don't want or that they want.
Yeah.
That was cool, and I like just this one episode we got to learn a little bit more about her and about her story. And I like that, yeah, she was wanting to kill that guy, but I like that they didn't make the group full on like evil, because I thought that for sure when she meets her sister, we don't really know what they were doing at the beginning of the season, right? We just see them running away from a house and they're driving, right? And police are after them, so we don't know how bad they are. So that's one thing that I didn't predict, because I predicted it, but I was wrong. I thought it was gonna be, oh, she gets there, classic, this seems great, I got friends, and then they're just like robbing banks, or they're just doing...
That's what I thought they were gonna do as well too. So when they were saying, oh, like we're ending those people, or like those bad people who've done bad things to us, and I thought it was kind of interesting.
Yeah.
I feel like I almost would have liked it better if they were just robbing banks to be...
Oh, see, I didn't like... No, I didn't, because the thing is, for me, I think she... From my perspective, she would have had more reason to want to definitely go back, where with them being kind of on the line, they're doing bad stuff, they're killing people, Eleven's aside, she doesn't want to do that, but they're doing it for the right reasons, right? Like, these people hurt them, they're bad people, they've maybe committed some, like, kind of crimes, and that's thing where, okay, she views it as, I want to murder these people. That's where I felt that then her wanting to go home is more, hey, I'm wanting to go home because I miss those people, instead of all these people are just committing crimes and whatnot, right? So, and I like that they were bad people, but they still, or they had bad things they were doing, but they still felt like good people. Same thing like her sister. Her sister was upset that she was leaving, like, she looked like she was about to cry. My worry is that they were just going to be full and bad and just want to use her for crime.
See, that's what I thought.
Yeah. And I like that it didn't happen.
Because... Well, yeah, I just thought they were going to use her for a crime and just like, oh, like, it's going to be okay. Like, oh, you're talking about these bad people? Like, let's go get those bad people. And, like, just so happens, like, oh, this guy, like, he was bad. And
and she doesn't know any better.
She doesn't know any better, and that's why I thought she was falling into a trap, because she's young and she's naive and she's just looking for a place to belong in, this, society. And I think can parallel with a lot of, like, cult societies where people... wanting a belonging, and it may not be right, but they're giving you that chance to feel belong, right? So like that's where I thought they were gonna go with that, and so and just they kind of did just use her.
They did, but they did. She still talked to her. Maybe the rest of the group did, but I felt like the sister did want to get through to her that, hey, I'm doing this because these people hurt us. We saw flashbacks of them hurting her, and we did get, like, she did help her get to use her powers more, right? Because there's that scene where bring the train to me and everything like that. I was thinking that
just for her advantage, though.
True. Yeah. Which but I think it ended up not being that. So as of right now, it's not. Yeah, because it's still, maybe the group felt that way, but she I think was still upset that she left. She wanted her sister to stick around. So I felt that there was a connection and not just using her, which they could have done. Yeah. So, and then the other moment that I really liked with Elle was I really liked when she did reunite with Mike. That was good, and they just like hug each other, and it was really emotional. But though that was, I think, more of a testament to me to the actors, because you can write that down, but if they can't pull it off, that scene doesn't play the same way, doesn't have the same emotion. They did, whether it's that or the dance, they both they have good chemistry. I'm excited to see. I hope in season 3 that it is kind of jumps a year or two ahead, and they're back to living a normal life, and they're just going to school, hanging out, this and that, like seeing their relationship evolve.
I kind of almost like the TV show to be in 2 years from now.
It won't be, but I would like it to. I think they could jump 2 years, though, because the way the kids are going to age, I think they could...
aging real quick.
Yeah, I think they could easily say, this is 2 years later, right? So I think 2 years is a possibility as far as jumping ahead. Yeah, and I guess the last thing before we talk about anything more season 3, I really liked the finale. I think that's one thing where... I guess I'll ask you in a second, but the finale, I really liked. All the characters felt like they were doing something important. Last season, it was important, but I wasn't the biggest fan of Hopper and Joyce. They did this thing where they went down to the Upside Down to get Will out, and I didn't love that. It was just kind of like, oh, okay, where the rest of the characters were doing more exciting stuff. You had Steve and the kids take on that bully, which that came out of nowhere, but whatever, it worked. They did that whole thing where they went down to like the core and they put on the fire and they ran into like Dart, and that was really good. I like the stuff that they had. The mom, the brother, and Nancy all trying to get the thing out of him with the heat, and then you had like the main people trying just to like Hopper and 11 close the gate, right? So I felt this finale between that, and I really liked everything of the snowball. Between how heartbreaking it was that none of the girls wanted to dance with Toothless.
Yeah.
And Nancy went over and danced with them, and the way he looked with his hair and everything like that. And just little moments like Steve seeing them together and driving away. Jonathan was doing all the camera work for like everyone, and then Hopper and Joyce were outside smoking a joint and everything. Like everyone got a good moment, and I thought the finale might be like my favorite episodes of the entire series because I liked that it was a good mix of action, horror, sci-fi, and good like character, emotional moments. You know, it didn't end with, obviously it ends in like a scary way with going upside down, but I think it was a good mix of it. So I really liked the finale.
I'm on the fence.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask you, because you said you liked the beginning more than the end. Why? Because I was the reverse, where the beginning for me I was finding everything predictable. I was like, okay, we're kind of doing a little retreading here and there, and then near the end, like, oh, we're doing this differently, characters. So for me, that's why I was reverse. But why were you?
I guess like for myself, the finale I thought it was really good, but again, I was just like, oh, okay, like I thought the finale was very predictable.
Okay.
Like as soon as they got. To be honest, I could have just left out that entire dance portion.
You didn't like the dance portion?
No.
Oh my god, that was so good. All them asking the girls to dance and everything like that.
I know it's good, but like, for me, it's like these kids are like 12, 13 years old, and they're like acting like this is a high school dance. Like, I thought it was a little out
that
of
happens
place.
though. That doesn't happen to you at dances when you're that age, talking to girls, you know, things like that. And they're doing the classic where they're doing like their first dance, you know.
I guess I don't know. I just find it weird. Like these kids are like kissing and like.
Well, yeah,
like,
I'm not
madly like. This is kind of my issue with it though.
Because they're kids.
Yeah, they're kids and they like have a lot of emotion where I expect like something maybe for like the high school.
I bet we did too at that moment. There are so many girls that I thought I loved. You know, there's so many girls. There's a girl probably like in grade 2 that I was like my first crush. I'm like, man, I'm gonna marry her one day. You know, so like hormones, you're growing up. For them, they're just starting to like girls. So I think it's just because you're at this age and you're like, oh, kids wouldn't act that way. But I think at that age, you're just that emotional, like, especially them going through all this stuff. But I think they're just starting to like girls, so I think you were just as bad as those guys were.
Yeah, probably. I don't really remember.
But was it why did you like? So you just felt the ending was more predictable for you this time?
I thought the ending was a bit predictable, and it was very like Bob's death. saw that coming from the beginning.
Yeah. Especially when they did the whole like. When he's in the claws and you see all these like
even before that.
Oh yeah.
I knew this is his Bob guy. I was like, I looked at my girlfriend. I was like, he's gonna die.
Yeah, he's not making it. I thought 100% that too because like they're gonna introduce him. Yeah. I'm like they're not gonna kill off any of the main characters.
Yeah.
I did think they were gonna kill off Steve, and the only reason he was close, but the only reason why I'm kind of surprised is because. In season 3, either he's gonna maybe have a new girlfriend, which I think that would be welcome for me because I like him. I don't want any more of the love triangle. I think that's kind of done. She picked Jonathan. It's over. He kind of let her go. So that's why I did think he was gonna die. I thought his story to me is kind of over. Like his story was with Nancy. Maybe he can get a story on his own in season 3, but. That's my thing of, we'll see in season 3, I like the character, but I almost think he should have died because I don't know what else is there left for him. All the characters to me had all these points where they could continue going, where it's kind of done.
Yeah, and it seemed like he was applying for universities as well too.
Yeah, maybe he just won't be there next season. Because especially if they do a time jump, he might just be gone, right?
And maybe he comes back to visit his family and has to all of a sudden help them out again.
See, and then that way, I wish he would have died then. I think they could have lost one of the main characters. And I think next season, I think there's a chance. It's tough because you don't want to lose any of the kids, right? Not even from like a violence standpoint. It's just that I don't really want them to die until like the very end. And even then, I want them all to make it. So I thought Steve is like the perfect, like, this person could go, you know? But he made it out. All the main cast from the previous season made it out, so they're golden.
I also found more towards the end, I thought everything was very jumpy. It doesn't, like this, not the jumpy, but like all the filming or like somehow the storylines are just going back and forth between everybody. I thought it wasn't very fluid.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought it was choppy and it was kind of like taking me out. Like I was really interested into a certain point and all of a sudden just like jumps into something completely different.
Yeah.
Not so much the finale itself, but kind of just leading up to the
back half of the season.
Yeah. That's what I found. It was very choppy and I kind of like the beginning of kind of get to know where everybody was, but I guess it's me just picking out certain parts of each episode that I really like and taking out kind of the bad. Like, you've brought some good points up where, you know, Mike didn't really do anything at the beginning. It's like, well, yeah, it's true. And I kind of was getting tired of Toothless, like, trying to protect this demigod type thing.
Yeah.
And it was funny. I like, actually, Toothless and Steve's relationship together.
Yeah, I like their little, like, I don't know, two-man show they had going on with it, because I like that he had no one else to go to. Like, people's radios were off, Mike and Will were missing, so that's why I like when he's just like...
Steve all of a sudden shows up.
Yeah, and he's like, I couldn't find any of you, that's why Steve's here, you know? Like, I like that, like... They had like a reluctant kind of bro like mans, but then at the end I like that he drove him the snowball and gave him tips with the hair and everything like that. So I kind of like that he became like this bigger brother to him. Yeah. The thing I'll throw out as a con is because I was super excited when I saw the previews. I'm really mad that like Halloween happened in episode 2 and then it was over. All the marketing has made it feel like this whole thing, because last year it was Christmas and everything was like
Christmassy.
Because it was Christmas. When they got to Christmas was when everything was okay, right? Because she bought Will like I think it was a Nintendo or something like that. Like maybe because obviously he was alive, right? So that was the thing where you had that Christmas vibe throughout the whole thing. Where this was like the first 2 episodes and then it was dropped, and I was kind of mad about that. I kind of wish. I guess they did the snowball, so they wanted that ending, but I wish Halloween would have went on a little longer or just kept the decorations up, because I want to see like them running around with horror decorations, this and that. Because the second one was over, it was done. It's tough because you don't know when else they would have, because in the middle of chaos they couldn't have gone out trick-or-treating. So it's fine. I maybe would have liked...
It could have been like a Halloween party.
A Halloween dance, I think, could have been. Yeah, and that's where my mind was. I wish they would have maybe put it out a little longer, because then... And I guess they want to still make it seem like a couple months, because they did a 1 month later jump, right? To make sure everyone's okay. So I got it just as a Halloween person. Halloween's my favorite day of the year, so I was like, ugh, like episode 2, but it was fine. It's not. That's not a big mark against it. It's just a con.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of hard. I kind of like the timeline. Was it supposed to be within a week, or like for 11 to be in wherever city
Pittsburgh,
and then all of a sudden she's back just in the
I think it's like just a week, really, like a week span.
Yeah, but like that time where they're like looking for Will, like, oh, we have to go to the house, and then it's like, oh, she's busing back, and it's like, how is this working all together? Like, is this maybe a 2-hour bus ride that she has to do?
Yeah, because I think they live, we're in Indiana or something like that. I can't remember. I don't know the logistics of how close they are. We're just a couple Canadians, so.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'll agree with that. But I think it was a week, and then they jump a month, obviously, and I guess you do the snowball in November. I thought you do that in December.
You do that in December?
Well, no, I guess October 31st, November. Okay, that's how they all did it.
Yeah.
What was I going to say?
The teacher wasn't really much in it.
No, not at all. He had like a couple scenes, and that was about it.
Because he was a big role in the last portion. So.
Well, he was the one that taught them the upside down.
And they didn't really explain what to do with the demigorgon or whatever thing in the fridge.
I think they're going to leave that first season through. I think someone could find that. I think someone could be experimenting on it. I think even the kids could be looking into it and see. So I think that's going to come up again next year.
Yeah.
And I guess we can talk about that, things that'll come up next year. The other thing I'm going to ask you about, how do you feel about this thread they left off that Papa is still alive? Yeah, me too. I feel like it's a been there, done that. The reason I knew he was going to be alive, though, was not because they brought the actor back for scenes or flashbacks, was when they were showing all the stuff of what happened to her mother and all this terrible stuff. And I was like, this is kind of strange, because obviously it's her origin story and they're showing how bad it was. But at the end of the day, I thought usually from a writing standpoint, you'll show these terrible acts happen to a character, so then when they go to get revenge or payback, you'll have that in your mind, right? But I was like, oh, he's already dead. But that's what I was like, oh, I think they're going to bring him back. Because after you've seen all this terrible stuff, like he literally kind of lobotomizes her mother, you want to see him get killed or his comeuppance, even though he's dead. So when that was happening, I'm like, yeah, I bet he's alive. Then he said, oh, Papa's alive. So I don't know if that's a threat of she's going to go on to look for him, or if he's going to be part of the reason why all this happens again. Because obviously the Upside Down, the gates are closed, but that creature is looking over the school, pretty much just like waiting to get at them, like plotting, like mad at these kids because he messed them up. So I think either he's going to definitely be in the plot, but I think he'll somehow open the portal back up or help open up, or maybe there's gates around other, like, they already did one thing where they went to Pittsburgh. They can do that again where they go to some other city. So I think he'll play a big role, and I'm not a big fan of that actor, so that's why I'm not a big fan of Matthew Modine. So when they're like, oh, he's alive, I was like, I don't know if I need him back, but I guess so. So yeah, I was kind of lukewarm on it.
They could jump that whole, laboratory somewhere else, and then the kids or, 11 has to go, or somehow that demon comes back to them and they have to go to that laboratory.
Yeah.
Then again, it's like, how many labs do we have to go through? So, I don't know, I think it's going to be interesting. I don't know what they're going to do with season 3. It kind of would have just been nice for them just to end.
Yeah, that's what I thought. But that's the thing where even with season 1 they had that cliffhanger. I still thought if you took the cliffhanger out, you still could have had that season end and be fine. So, like I said, that's why I'll give them the benefit of the doubt, because they made a good second season. So I believe they can make a good third season. I think it'll have to do with someone with a lab where the gate will open up, or maybe there's an opposite of what I've thought is one of those people that are, you got 11 and 8, and obviously there could be more of these children out there. What if one of the children wants to bring these things out? What if they're... And that's my kind of thinking of maybe they're going to have one of these kids against 11 that also has powers. Because, maybe the sister will come around and be bad, but I still got the vibe that she's going to be pretty torn, right? So that's my prediction, or thought that they could go of either the lab is opening up, or they're using the help of, let's say there's a 12, and they're using the help of 12 to open this up, and they're doing it not against their will. They're doing it because they want to. Because we still don't really know why these Demogorgons and Demidogs really want the world. I guess they just want to take it over and eat it, but we don't know what their actual, really end game is. They're creatures, so it's hard to tell, but I think
they just go through different dimensions and want to take over things. That's all we got from the book.
Yeah, exactly. So I think obviously they're going to come back, but I think the other kids and whatever numbers are going to have a lot to do.
What if Steve goes to the new university and they're studying all the stuff, and as they're studying,
they should, because that stuff is low key, right?
Low key laboratory. They're using a university as a front.
No.
So Steve has to call them to come to help.
Boy. Yeah.
Hey.
I have
no idea.
I think what will happen, this is my prediction, is it's going to be a year 2 jump. Everything's going to be fine. I think either her sister 8 or another person will come and find them and say, hey, this is going on our city or this is going on somewhere else. We need your help. Whether that's the beginning of the season or somewhere in the middle, I think that's going to be the main thing of season 3, is it's going to be these kids coming together, like the special ones. And then I think season 3, if their plan is to do 4 or 5, I hope if they're going for a 5, I hope they stick to 4. I think that would be enough, but if they do just do 4, I could say 3 ending on a big cliffhanger, something with season 1, then season 4 will be the ending. So I don't think I have any more as far as predictions. And
the only other prediction I have is, how she almost killed that one guy in the Philadelphia or Pittsburgh story. Well, he knows where he is, so he just contacts hey, she's still here.
True.
And then he goes and...
because he knew he was alive, right? He's like, he's still alive, I know, so that's true. And then they'll go back. And then he'll come and try to abduct her again. He probably will abduct her. I think she will get abducted once, because I think at some moment, I think there's either going to be some deterrent that will make her powers lessen, or that's why I do think there will be a child, but working with them, and that will be the way, because it is how do you capture 11, right? She can just break people's necks. So that's why I do think there's going to be a child that is with them, or a teenager, something like that. So no, I agree with that. I think Joyce and Hopper are gonna be an item. I think I don't think they'll start off that way. I think it will build up. I think that's gonna happen, and maybe they'll do a Thanksgiving Stranger Things.
And Rick Bob, he was left.
I liked him too.
He was good.
Bob the Brain.
I liked him. He was a good character, and then they kind of just be like, yeah, Bob died, and that's it.
Yeah.
Let's move on. And the kids were like, oh, we need to do something for him. And you're like, what? When were you so invested into Bob?
Well, the one kid,
Will, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, Will, of course.
With the camera.
Mike hung out with Bob the entire time. The whole show.
Well, Bob just kind of tagged along, right? But I like that he's like, oh yeah, I'm going to be a superhero, And, well, he was, and didn't pan out for him, so.
Yeah.
You have anything else on that?
No, I thought it was pretty good.
Well, your final statements? And if you want to give a rating, it's harder on TV shows, but if you want to give
it's pretty hard on TV shows. My last things for the show is, I think if you haven't watched it, I think you should watch it.
Well, a little far now.
But if
you're in the spoilers,
you know everything. You just did the spoilers. But yeah, no, I thought it was good. I like season 1 better. I think maybe because it felt a little bit more smoother and kind of more an adventure with the kids. Meanwhile,
it's more new too, right?
Yeah.
Like we didn't know 11, we didn't know what a Demogorgon was, we didn't know the laboratory. We're everything now. It's like we're in this world, we know the rules, and it's not as fresh. Where that's the thing. I think it's always gonna be like that, right?
You even look at Hopper. He kind of just like opens up the vines, like here we go again, and just like jumps down like it's no big deal.
Yeah. Where first season was like, oh my
goodness, like they're all wearing suits.
I do like when he's on the phone. He's like, and tell the cops not like to wear gloves, and he looks behind him, and that one cop's just like, whoa, and he's touching it like with his bare skin. And I do like that they literally just like showered and like scrubbed Hopper down. He's like, oh, like no, I liked that. Yeah.
But no, I thought it was great. A rating, I don't know. Are we gonna do 5 or 10?
What? I still go with 10s, but if you wanted out of 5,
no, we can do 10s. I think I'll give it an 8.
Okay, an 8. Okay.
Yeah, I think a solid 8.
A solid 8.
Yeah. I thought it was really good. The first show I liked a lot better, as I said, but there's a few problems. Like they could have taken out that whole stepbrother portion completely out.
Oh, with the bully.
With the bully. Like, think about it. If you just take the bully out and just have her parents neglecting her the whole time.
It doesn't really change the plot.
It doesn't really change the plot at all.
No. But I like that he lives, so maybe that'll come up next season again. But I don't know. She seemed like scare him pretty good, right? So yeah, I'm similar. I did like the first season better, but not by much. Like there were some cons that I had with the season. Like I said, a few little retreads, a few little storylines could have been nipped here and there. But the main thing that happens is it's a great ride as far as I was still engaged most of the time.
Yeah, that's true.
Acting's still great. Just everything from that works as far as we brought the soundtrack with the soundtrack, the cinematography, stuff like that. Like they make you feel in that world.
We kind of didn't really talk about that much.
Like shots and everything?
Yeah.
No.
Well, it was good. It's Stranger Things. It was amazing.
Well, yeah, and I think there's just certain scenes, like with the scene that sticks up for me the most is when they're trying to get the thing at a will, and just like shots of the heater and just like Dutch angles and that. I thought it was really well done. The whole show, it's finely tuned. Like that's why it is one of the best Netflix shows, because even if the content sometimes is a little lacking, like it just looks so great. It flows well. And lots of good characters as far as their arcs, as far as Eleven and Hopper. I think I'm happy Will got some shine in this because he got to do nothing last year, so good for that actor. And a few characters were maybe a little, I won't say wasted, but put, as we said, on the back burner. So I believe I gave Stranger Things Season 1 a 9.5 because
I would do that as well.
At the time, I remember like the Barb thing, which they definitely answered it here, but the Barb thing was kind of a plot hole. Like they didn't really mention it. Like everything was hunky-dory, but Barb wasn't. This and that. And there was a few other little things here and there. I was not a fan of Matthew Modine Papa either, but I'll give this one a 9 because honestly, I at first I was like, ooh, I don't know, is it gonna be a little lower for me? But I really like the back half. I really like some episodes. I do think it did, even though myself, I still think it could have ended. I think they did good job as far as setting up season 3 because I am interested with this whole her sisters. Does she have any brothers? Like that does have me intrigued.
Now come back to the school after that year wait that she has to do as well too, and her interaction at the school. Like
she's definitely, and that's what I can't wait to see her in the school. That's the only thing that says that they do jump a year or two. We don't get to see that. Like we saw a little bit of this when she had her word of the day and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm always gonna be excited for the show because it's very well done. So that's the thing where I'll always be like, oh, can they keep doing more of these? But they did it with season 2, and even if season 3 and season 4 were the same quality as season 2, that wouldn't be a negative. That'd be very happy for me. Like I still think I have some cons, but it's a great show, and it's one of Netflix's best show. And yeah, I think they did a good follow up. So
they could even do with 11 if she goes back to school, kind of like a Superman where her dad doesn't want her using her powers.
Oh, for sure that'll be it. For school stuff, anything.
Like anything. Like don't use it, and then she's going to be conflicted in certain situations. So I think they did a really good job overall. So yeah.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for tuning in this. You can check out, we have a lot of content this weekend. We did review Jigsaw, which was a delight. We reviewed that, so check that out for our Saw fans. If you're Assassin's Creed gaming fans, Taylor is hard at work. Assassin's Creed came out this week, so he's
gaming hard.
Oh, he's gaming hard. He's putting out a review, and he's also putting a play along video. So he is going ham over there. He's in Assassin's Creed heaven. So we got a lot of stuff to promote, but the most important 24-hour stream, November 4th, 9 a.m. PST. You can go to Facebook and Twitter and find all the information there about any details, where you're donating, where the monies go to, anything, how you can help. SoundCloud, iTunes, Podbase, Stitcher Radio, Google Play, on YouTube and Twitch. And yes, thank you very much for tuning this review, Kyle. Thank you very much for coming back.
Thank you. I missed you.
Yeah, maybe once. Yeah, you know. And then maybe once school's done, you can hop back up here. We got that Spider-Man retro to finish.
We do.
You got to find out who Hobgoblin is.
The story continues.
Well, thank you very much for this review and helping me out with this, and thank you very much for tuning in. Next time, it won't be boring. Thor Ragnarok next Thursday. Next Friday will be Thursday or Friday we'll be reviewing. We're not sure, but we're dropping a review. So until then, it won't be boring.
Boom.
Boom. I was gonna say, have you